I don't see any changes to the agenda, so I'll go ahead and make a motion that we accept the agenda as presented. Have a motion, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, first item of business is indigent.
Yeah, Chantal Laulu with Indigenous Services. The first case that we have for you is case number 2020-0241. This is an amended approval of a prior application. It was partially approved last week as the medical review stated that there wasn't sufficient documentation to make a determination on the requested chemotherapy. The provider submitted additional documentation which was submitted to Idaho Medical Review, which now states that it is considered medically necessary for the purposes of payment.
I'll go ahead.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the rest of case 20200241. Have a motion, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. This is for case number 20200247. It is an application submitted for cremation expenses through Cornelison Funeral Home in the amount of $1,200. The funeral home did submit this application. It is a unique application in the sense that there was very little information that I was able to obtain. The only information I was able to obtain was through the coroner as well as the funeral home. There wasn't any information that would disqualify them for services through the county. The coroner stated that he did identify next of kin in another state. However, they did not want to cooperate in the application process. And so I will yield to the commission. My recommendation would be an approval, as there wasn't anything that would disqualify them. They are a Bannock County resident. They are not a veteran, and there were no resources that were identified. So it does appear that Bannock County is the last resource for payment, and there were no responsible parties identified for reimbursement on this request.
I have no problem with that. What about you, Terrell?
No, I'm good.
The next application that we have is for case number 2020-0248. It's an application submitted for cremation expenses through Wilkes Funeral Home in the amount of $1,200. All the information that I was able to obtain was through the state's website. It's a 75-year-old male who was a state of the ward, a ward of the state, was a Bannock County resident, was not a veteran. It appears that Bannock County is the last resource for payment of these final expenses, and there are no responsible parties or family members located for reimbursement of this request at this time. Our recommendation is an approval of this application.
Okay. Make a motion. Find the numbers here. On case 202-00247 and 248, that we approve them. We have a motion. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
And the final case that we have for you is case number 2020-0236. Our recommendation is a denial of this application pursuant to Idaho Code 313505A2. Failure to cooperate with the investigation process and provide the necessary documentation. This scheduled interview is not attended in Bannock County. We've been able to establish jurisdiction for this case.
On case 202-00236, I make a motion that we deny. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next, Ryan. This is a conversation from Human Resources. First, on approval of job descriptions for Public Information Officer and Human Resource Specialist, and then ICRIMP policy update.
Okay. So the Public Information Officer position was approved for this upcoming budget year, and I worked on it with Braden, and I sent it with the packet, and I think it's ready to go. It's been classified, written. And then the HR position, I guess there were a couple little changes based on what I sent you. Christy and I talked really briefly this morning about the FLSA exemption, and originally I put it as exempt, and then we talked, and it's probably going to be better as non-exempt. So otherwise, there's no major change to that position.
On that one, the only question I had, why are you putting 25% and 20% and 20% in the different responsibilities?
It's a direction that I have been wanting to go with some of the positions, or as many as possible, and I kind of wanted to use this as an example.
Okay.
The way our kinds and levels and salary tables work is with 20 grades, what makes the distinction between like a grade 12 and a grade 11 could be pretty subtle, and it's common for a position description to have like level 9 duties and level 10 duties and level 12 duties all packed into one position. And so if, let's say, a lot of those duties are lower level, and all we have is this big bulleted list, when I try to classify, how do I know, okay, are they mostly doing higher level stuff, or are they mostly doing lower level stuff? And this just kind of stuff, responsibilities, it helps me with the classification process and picking which grade to assign it to.
Okay. I just wondered on the job description though, if that was necessary. I mean, I understand what you're doing there, but I don't want somebody saying, well, I'm doing 30% this and I should get more money because the percentages aren't quite right.
And this is a common practice, and what in my experience, I've done this my whole career.
Okay.
And where it comes in handy is, especially if we move to annual check-in with your employee, and you're talking about, okay, what's the priorities of your job? What are you supposed to be doing as a supervisor employee? It gives you this opportunity to say, hey, are you really working on the stuff you're supposed to, the right amount of time you're supposed to? Or has the job changed? And, if the job has changed based on need of the organization or whatever, then maybe it is time to look into changing the grade or pay because it deserves it. It's just more accurate in my mind.
Okay.
So we don't have to. It's just it's something that I've done my whole career. It kind of has a domino effect of different areas it would touch.
Well, I just had some concerns with it. I didn't see another duties assigned as a percentage, because that always happens. I mean,
it does. And I guess in my mind, that's just given. That's expected. You can't list every single thing that a person does on a position description, no matter how long you make it. So.
And initially, he had the grades, the percentages on the PIO as well. But after going over that one with all the different things that person's going to be responsible for, we decided just to take those out, just because it could be media heavy 1 week or 1 month, and then not so much the next. So it would be uniform. Ryan's job description, I think, would be uniform all the way down as far as including those percentages. But with that particular position, I didn't really feel like, I kind of took them out without Ryan knowing, and then passed it to him because I felt like that was kind of, like you're saying, it could be all over the place. But in all fairness to Ryan, he did have that on there at first, and then I kind of took it out, and he was okay with it just because we had talked about that position being so all over the place, just for what it's worth.
And honestly, I'm not going to fall on my sword over that. I mean, if we want to take him out, that's easy enough. It's just what I see some benefit to it.
Well,
it's not a major thing.
I see benefit when you're talking with the supervisor or when they're doing an evaluation. I see a benefit. In a job posting, I don't see the benefit.
Yeah, the posting, okay,
That's
fine.
Terrell, any comments?
So, I don't actually mind it in the job posting, because it does give people kind of a description of what you be doing. But like Braden said with the PIO, that one's going to be a sporadic. That one's going to be a sporadic mess. To tell you the truth, that position's going to be everywhere. Positions I think that are a little bit more stable. If you know that, hey, you know, part of your time in a day is going to be doing X, part of your time is going to be doing Y, you know, whatever, or as directed by your supervisor at the bottom. But in an average time, this is something that you should be looking at, because it does set expectations to the employee that, hey, this job description said I was going to be doing data entry, and you have me out mowing lawns. You know what I mean? And if you have some of those percentages, I think helps. But then, as you said, Ernie, I think it helps with a supervisor then at the end of the year, going back and making sure their job description is what that person is actually doing as well. Because if that person's job is morphed into, hey, we only said you're going to do 25% data entry and 50%, you know, count money or whatever you're doing, those things should be somewhat aligned. And if they're not, either they need to evaluate what they're doing for the tasks they're assigning that person, or they need to have that job description updated. So I do see the benefit to having it in there.
Okay.
I have a quick question. Is this going to be called a human resources professional or a specialist or an analyst? I've seen the budget was requested as an analyst. I just need to, when I set the line item up in our system, I just need to make sure it's called the right thing.
I would prefer professional.
Okay.
That's fine. Fine. So,
I'm okay with them. The way they're written, I looked at them last week. When was it? And I talked to Ryan about it when they were talking about the percentages, and I'm okay either way, Ernie.
I would kind of go with you, Ernie, where I don't like the percentages. Just do what you're told. It doesn't matter what percentage of time goes which way.
well, I just look at a situation that happened up at the event center where an individual was kind of put in a different position for a little bit and then expected more money just because we had a vacancy and she was kind of helping him filling in that position. And I just don't want it to be an argument part for a supervisor to say, well, I need more money because I'm doing 50% this instead of 30% this. I think it's good for the supervisor when they're talking to the person, we hire them, and you're gonna be doing this, and this is the percentage basically you're gonna be doing. But I don't want it out there on paper saying, I did this, I do this, and this is what I hired on to do. That's just kind of my feeling. So I'd like to take the percentages off and then move forward.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
With these two jobs being posted, for the other positions that were allowed in the budget, do they need to come before the board to get approval to post those jobs? Or can this be an open, if you have a new position starting October 1 that anybody can post? So we've got like a deputy prosecutor, we've got an equipment operator at Rodenberry, or at Noxious. I've got my accountant position. Do we need to come back and ask?
I think they were approved in the budget that should be the approval. What do you think, Terrell?
I would just say before you post, make sure the job description is date and it's good through HR. That's my only thing is I don't care if you post it. I just don't want job descriptions like what was it, last budget cycle. I think when we approved some stuff, there were some positions that were posted that were old positions, and then they had to go take them down and put new ones up. So just make sure that whatever we're posting gets the approval through HR, that it's good, it's updated, and we're good, and then go that way.
The
Okay.
prosecutor might need the time to get it posted to hopefully get somebody by.
Yeah, or if HR needs to help putting those job descriptions together to help get them done. I mean, that's the other thing. That's the other thing too. Just those positions don't need to feel like that they're out on their own. There. That's what.
Right.
Okay. So you wanna go ahead and make a motion to move forward with these two, or just say we're not requiring anybody else to come before us, so? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, move forward.
thank you.
And your public information officer is grade 10.
10?
Yeah, that's what was put in the budget.
Is that what you put on it? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I-
it's blank, huh?
Yeah, we left it blank because we weren't sure if it was 10 or 11, so. Okay.
Yeah, that's what was in the budget.
You can add that.
Sorry, I should have CC'd you on that email.
Oh, you're good. I kinda got thrown in late on it. Jeff just asked me to work on it with Ryan, so we can get that taken care of. That's what.
All right. Hi, Trim.
Okay. Yeah, so, I got a message from iCrimp, and, they're making a few updates to their policy, and, I've just shared the document with Brian, and, most of the items are just clarification, changes. One was about mobile equipment, pollutant, stuff, stuff that really we didn't see making much of a difference to, or impact on the county. The ones that did, refer to that might have a financial impact was and that I figured you guys would be more concerned about was, there's this, a deductible for employment practices liability. And it went from 5,000 to 7,500. And what I understand of that is, like, if we have someone that goes out and a supervisor that goes out and terminates an employee without checking in first with iCrimp, then we're on the hook for more money than, but that is waived if we're following if we check in with iCrimp and follow what they ask us to do on that. So, which has been our practice, so I'm not too concerned about that. As long as no one's going rogue.
So as long as they run it past iCrimp,
Yeah.
then we don't have to worry if things go sideways about having to pay that deductible.
Right. And then the other one was with the cyber liability ransomware limit. It was to 50,000 per claim, and that was a bump. So otherwise, I think, unless Brian, was there anything else that stood out to you that you wanted to share?
And a lot of it was just putting it under different categories, reclassifying it, so there wasn't necessarily change. That was the main point.
So I thought it'd just be good to bring that up so you're aware.
We appreciate it. We don't have any choice or any say in anything,
No.
but we
No.
appreciate knowing.
That's just what it is.
It's just good information to know if there's change.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's it.
thank you. All right, Christie.
It is that time of year where we need to open the budget and or reallocate monies for departments that, may need a little bit more or, need more in a different area. So, as far as opening the budget, we've got 3 departments that, need some extra money. We have county operations, unemployment went over. I presented that to you on the last quarterly, report. Unemployment went over about $34,562. So I am requesting that we move money to unemployment from the juvenile facility operations, where we've got some extra funds in there. Also, fair operations, the budget went over by $55.
That's what happened.
We didn't catch, well, they actually spent more than that, but they were able to find some other funds to cover that.
Who's that clown?
Unfortunately, I didn't catch, we missed a little bit of math here and there, so I need $55 to keep them level. The rec district, event center, wellness complex, they, Scott asked me if we could move some money from extra help. That should be 408, I got a typo on that one. From extra help to professional services and property acquisitions, 50,000 there. He has currently 200,000 in his extra help. So that's really not much of a, yeah, 238,000 excess in extra help right now. So that's not touching too much of our money. As far as opening the budget, again, we have the rec district. Scott would like to open the budget for $11,225 to put in grounds maintenance. That was some ICRIM reimbursement for wind damage that was done up there. So we'll just put the money back in that line where we have to make some
When
money.
did that happen? You know?
We had that really bad windstorm. We got the check in January.
Okay. I can't remember.
Don't remember when. Oh,
Identifying
lost
what
date, 9/7/20.
Okay.
So, but we didn't get the check until a little later.
Okay. Can't remember of any damage that we was made aware of.
I think it was some trees.
Was it
There was a trees that got.
That was the trees that fell over
Okay.
back there.
And then
Okay. Yeah.
we had to do some cleanup on them.
Okay.
Waterways fund, I presented to you last week or the week before on that, so $6,800 is all we received. We get more than that, I can't open the budget for more than what we received. So, the other option would be just go over budget and just close white in the financials. 911, I came to you before, that one, that's where we were really tight on money in there. We had $24,118 that we paid the bill, and so did Chubbuck or Pocatello, and then Pocatello reimbursed us. So there's that 24,000 for 911. The health insurance trust is actually over budget, but we have been receiving rebate money and stop loss revenue, which I didn't know we were going to be receiving. So we've got 494,000 and change that we can put back into medical. They are currently over, so you know. Because that should also give us a little bit more money to get us through the rest of the year. They're currently over budget 193,000. So that gives us about 300,000 to get through the rest of the year. Fair Donation Trust, they received donation money for the rodeo, $4,800, and that's why they're gonna cover a couple of the expenses where they went over budget.
Okay.
So, but in order to, we need a public hearing to open the budget, so I needed to bring forth, get your permission to do that, and then also to make money with that. So, sorry, we'll do the resolutions for those and set the public hearing.
You get on all that, Terrell?
I'm good, go ahead and we'll need to punch for my Chris.
Yes,
Okay. When are we looking to
okay.
actually?
You cut out.
Oh, sorry. When are we looking to hold the public hearing?
I'm looking at Sarah.
We have another one.
It's gotta be September. I think we were gonna get it to the paper Sunday and then hold it, was it next week or 2 weeks?
Have you already talked to me about that?
No. I didn't know yet. Okay. To be determined.
Okay. No, I'm good with that. Go ahead and, Ernie, I'm good with them. Go ahead and just in getting everything put in there.
Okay.
Okay.
And I neglected to bring up the LP. So you can't sign those because there's no paper copies on them.
Uh-huh.
So if you either skip.
And it's just
to-
my signature?
Yeah. So you could approve them and then come down and sign them after?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
So I'll make a motion
Do you have any questions on them?
that we go ahead and accept the 2021 L2s and the chairman's signature. All in favor, say aye.
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 There's one minor change. We changed, event center. That put them over budget, so I added $10,000 from reserves and put $10,000 from property taxes, but that was the only change from when we set budget.
Okay. All right. Sheriff. This says Christy Clauser's gonna talk for you.
He's here.
You're here.
Well, things have changed since.
Then you're on your own, it's a good thing I'm not doing that.
No, we had talked to Christy last week about moving, well, we came to her with a problem with our shortage in our booking positions. We've gotten 2 applicants to replace one that's moving into court security and one opening that we had. But the problem was we only had the one opening to fill. But the future with that, with one of our deputies moving to security, we delayed her move because of the short staff in jail. So, in order for us to hire the 2, we'd have to reallocate some money into 408 extra help, which Christy was able to work out based on the money we had in excess and overtime, I believe.
So what we'd like to do is just, we're gonna, when he hires the 2 booking, officers, then what we'll do is we'll put one of them into extra help during the training process. And then we figured that'd be no more than 8 weeks. And then after the 8 weeks, when the individual that's gonna come to court security moves, we'll move that person from 408 into the permanent line item. But that just allows them to do some training. They've got somebody that's out, otherwise they would have been able to handle the training.
We've got one that's out till November, broke the collarbone in a motorcycle accident in booking, which created our shortage in booking. Or we'd be fine to be able to train until we can make that transition to court security. But
But you also currently have how many open positions
in detention,
in detention?
well, we've got 3 more leaving for other positions in the state, not relocating, but here in town.
Mhm.
And currently 7 openings.
So we're talking $5,200, and then one deputy position is $1,500 per pay period. So they're not, yeah,
But since that discussion,
it
that
should be.
second one
Uh-huh.
pulled her application, says, no, I wanna be driver's license part-time. So
Oh.
she's currently being interviewed for our driver's license. She had a change of heart. So we actually have that opening still there.
So you may or may not
But
need
just
just
in
408.
case.
Okay.
Correct, it may still happen. But we have no applicants in the waiting right now, so.
So if it comes to be a situation, would it be okay for us to put a position into 408 if we needed to in the interim?
I have no problem with that. Darrell?
No, I'm good with that.
Okay, yeah.
May or may not,
We
may not be a
may not get
situation.
another application until the new budget year anyway, so. But there's hoping that doesn't happen.
Well, you have funds.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
you've identified funds, that's a concern. You're not going $55 in the hole.
No.
See, now you know how closely we watch stuff.
And I appreciate it.
All right, well, thank you.
Anything else?
Just in case, no? Unless,
Yeah, I think there's another item on the agenda, right?
is there?
Because we were good, wasn't there?
There was supposed to be from last week.
Because from last week, we talked about a position that, a promotion,
Salary rate approval.
the approval form.
We're not gonna talk about that till all commissioners are here.
Okay. So is that gonna be Thursday, or?
It'll be after Jeff comes back. That's what I talked to you the
Okay,
other day about a little bit.
all right.
Start date on that, I believe, is the 11th.
Yeah.
So hopefully Thursday.
Jeff won't be back till next week.
Okay. Let me change, and there was a ripple effect because there was another employee that was gonna take that position. Can we push the date off, the start date on this?
I'll check. Cause I know that the one that's leaving is starting. I'll check with,
And it's actually not on the
the one
schedule.
that,
Right.
The other one was an internal.
We can't make
right?
any decisions. We can talk
it's
about
only
anything, but
part-time.
can't
Well,
make
no,
any
the
decisions
internal
on
was gonna go from part-time to full-time, and then the lead's leaving to work for Kyle.
Right, but but it's all within driver's license, so you've got
Correct.
an internal moving to a lead,
Correct.
and you've got a part-time moving
Going
to
to full-time.
full-time. So if you can put the part-time off from moving to full-time, and then the lead, you're just without a lead for maybe another
Well,
week.
maybe we can put it on Thursday, because it isn't on the agenda for today.
Okay, that's fine.
But if you wanna talk about it, and Carol's back, we could talk about it with,
Yeah, I'll either be there Thursday or on the phone, one of the two. So, yeah.
okay,
And
That's
worst case scenario, push it off a week.
okay, but it, yeah,
The
it
start
just,
date.
it's not on the agenda.
Okay, perfect.
That might be-
All right,
Okay.
Thursday or later. Thank you.
Chief, did you have something?
I do, we're signing some grants.
Oh,
We
okay,
got money from the state.
okay. That, because I didn't see
Yeah, no,
the ambulance district anywhere, but the grants are on here, so,
grants are on there.
okay. Let's,
I was wondering the same thing, like, I hope.
well, next we have resolutions. The first is Resolution 202178, which is salaries for August of 2021. And Resolution 202179 is August 2021 alcohol licenses.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the resolutions presented.
You have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. After that, we have proclamations. The first proclamation is Kind Community Proclamation, then the Patriot Day Proclamation, and then Marsh Valley American Legion Baseball Day Proclamation.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the proclamations as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I didn't receive any messages back from Marsh Valley to see when we could do that. I'll have to make a call today. Next on the agenda, we have a notice for a public hearing on Tuesday, October 5th. And this one is for discussion and amendment to the Bannock County flood damage prevention ordinance.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the notice of public hearing.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. All right, next we have 3 grants.
Mr. Chairman,
That's
Chief
same
Gates, Bannock County Ambulance District, there's actually 2 grants. I'm not sure what happened with the extra number, but there is 1 equipment grant and 1 vehicle grant.
One is a search rescue.
Oh, I don't have that one.
Yeah.
So, somebody else will present that one. And there are 2 places to sign. One is for the grant itself, the contract, and then there is a second signature that's required for House Bill 2020 in recognition of that. I will pass these across, and they're marked for signing.
So I don't need to sign these.
Well, you can sign those.
so-
It doesn't matter to
Let
me.
see the one that's not on there. I
Okay.
believe one of them is search and rescue, so you'll still need to sign that one. Okay?
Yeah. Well, they're all 3 marked as
They're all health and welfare.
health and welfare.
Yeah.
Purchase of emergency medical services equipment,
There you go.
purchase of patient transport vehicle, and purchase of emergency medical services. That was the same thing.
Yeah. One is just, if you look in the
Search and
description,
rescue.
Bannock County Search and Rescue, and the other 2 are ambulance.
Okay. Okay. So this is Board of Ambulance?
2 of them, the grant,
2 of the grants are
the
ambulance.
one with the 2551 is not the Board of Ed does.
Okay. Sign these as commission, okay, because we didn't have board.
Yeah, you don't need to
mandates
go on
on
Board of Ambulance.
Okay. All right. Terrell, any concerns?
No, I'm good.
Okay. You wanna make a motion for these 3 grants?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the grants as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
So, signature of authority grant, title, signature, date. Under Bannon County, right?
Because they're already filled out.
Those are already filled out. You just want these.
Yeah,
They're gonna be the same.
Okay, yeah.
Then he doesn't have to write his name and sign on
Understood.
them.
Well,
Just he does all that.
as long as it's in the right spots all the time, that's.
And then if you want to just email me.
Okay. We'll have Michelle submit them.
Okay.
So if you need the originals back, Michelle will submit them. Couldn't do it again.
All right. Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Next, we have a consent agenda, maybe. Got files all over the place. First one we have is certificates of residency, internship approval, restrictive spending report or request, alcohol license, and minutes from August 26th, 31st, and September, August 26th and 23rd. Motion on the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously.
Or need you to put them in the same pile?
Yeah, that's fine. With that being said, we are adjourned.